welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Okay, got a bunch of stuff, so let's get out of here. And let's make sure there's no creepers or any other nasty things about. Okay, and let's see, that's the west, so let's head off this way and proceed onward to the FarLands. If we can get past all of this mountainy stuff. Well, it looks like there's a probable way around here. Ah, hey, how about that? All right. Continuing onward with our traditional startup of the episode. Specifically, getting down off of this hill without clobbering myself. And reporting the size of the world, which currently, on this 246th Minecraft day since leaving spawn, the world is at 3,142.45 megabytes. And I've done a little bit of math with that. With the current interim goal of 4,000 megabytes for the world size before getting into that F3 moment that I talked about last episode, oh, cool. Yeah, gotta grab a shot of that. Okay. With the interim world size goal being 4,000 megabytes, the current world size being 3,142.45 megabytes, that means that let's see, let me get up here. That means that as of the beginning of this episode, there is 857.55 megabytes to go until reaching that goal, that interim goal. And since the world size generally tends to increase by approximately 37.44 or so megabytes per 3 Minecraft day episode, then that means that as of the beginning of this episode, a hair over 22 episodes of 3-day episodes to go before reaching that goal. So presumably on the 23rd episode from now, which is like 106 or 107 or thereabouts, we should reach the world size goal and be good for the F3 event. I am looking forward to that. You know what would be really cool is if we could have 2 F3 events in rapid succession. You know, one for this particular goal and one for the Child's Play charity goal, which currently stands at let's see, $176.12 is where it's at currently, which is 2.78% of the goal. And I need some wood anyway. If I can find the center of this tree. Let's see. I think I've got it. Yes, I'm shamelessly going to leave that floaty behind. Don't care. So, let's see, where was I? Yeah, it would be cool to, after, like, for example, do the one F3 thing for the interim world size goal, because of the one goal that was pretty much declared complete because it has been canceled. I figure cancellation equals completion, technically speaking. And I'm doing that because this thing's been 4 years without anything like this, so it needs it. But to have that goal reached, and then, say, a week or a month or two later, to reach the Child's Play charity goal, which is raising $6,346.45, and I think we can do that. Okay, granted, it's seemingly something of a stretch, but it's still very, very possible. So we're going to continue on like it will happen. I think that's the way to go there. Decide it's going to happen and continue on like it will. And whether it does or not, that doesn't matter. It's going to happen, and the journey will continue in either case. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. And that means that, by the way, with $176.12 raised, that means that if we only have 1,234 $5 donations, we'll get there. How about that? That doesn't make it so bad, does it? 1,234 $5 donations will bring us to that goal. How about that? And how about if I actually use Le Boat? Yeah, and I pick a narrow spot to do it, don't I? Let's see if I can get by this and keep going. Well, for a little while. Anyway, so there we are. We're moving on. We're making progress. We're having a good time and walking through epic terrain, or in this case, boating through it. Okay, I'm not going to boat through this because I can see the end this freaking close. Anyway, going onward here. Let's see, what's been happening recently? Oh, yeah, that's right. Saw something on Twitter yesterday, last night, I think it was. Well, it might have been early this morning. I don't remember right this minute. But I saw something that was kind of cool. Somebody did some fan art of me, TinFoilChef. How about that? This was individual calling themselves, let's see, where is that? Tech Stomper, who did some fan art of me, and then did a speed art thing of it on a YouTube video. I'll link that in the description, and of course you can see the picture now. That was pretty cool. Thank you, sir. That's awesome. There's not a whole lot of that kind of thing been done about me, or for me, or of me, or whatever. And that's really cool. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see, what else is going on? I don't know, actually, a whole lot of what's going on, because I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV. And yeah, just that kind of thing. All right, looks like we're using another boat, and all of a sudden we are now out of them. But we're moving fast. And in fact, looks like I'm going to get to that shore just in time for the first night. Yeah, I think so. But, well, one bit of news I've noticed is that today has been or is a somewhat warmer than usual sort of day. In that the temperature today has reached 40 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's a big deal because, I'll get it when I get up. That's a big deal because it's the warmest it has been in my house for probably like about 5 days. And yeah, how about I make some more boats? Yeah, that's it. That's actually, sadly to say, true. That's the warmest it's been in my house for the larger part of a week. And the forecast is actually calling for it to be warmer than that. Oh boy. On the other hand, I'll believe that when it happens. I mean, this is January and all. And while Arkansas doesn't necessarily get a whole lot of snow, it does get a whole lot of cold, most especially in January. Yeah. All right, moving on. Let's see, and of course, there is a big chunk of Farlander news, specifically in Kurt J. Mack's most original Farlands or Bust thing. He had his, I believe it was the 5th Flavathon event, raising an obscene amount of money for Child's Play charity. And at the end of that Flob event, he hit F3 and found himself to be, I forget the exact number, but I know it was over 3,100,000, around 3,116,000, I think. That's a long way. 3,116,000 blocks. And if you think about it, the blocks in Minecraft are 1 meter. So 3,116,000 meters, if you divide that number by 1,000, that means he's traveled over 3,000 kilometers in Minecraft. That's awesome. I don't know how far I've traveled. I figure I'm pretty sure that it ain't no 3 million. And it's probably not even 1 million. But I'm sure it's some decent, semi-respectable number. Oh, man. I walked into another one of these. Alright. Alright, let's just go from here. And then work my way back down. Yeah. There we go. Alrighty. So that's a pretty cool event. And he's gone a long way in 5 years. 3 million blocks. That's huge. And had I been as regular about this series as I had really intended to be and should have been, I wouldn't be very far behind him at all. But that's okay. I'll get there. And hey, I might even catch up with him eventually. But anyway, let's see. There's a question here. How long have you grown your majestic beard? Asked by Snod a couple of weeks ago. In a comment. How long have I grown my majestic beard? Well, the last time I shaved, it's actually kind of a funny story. Back in 2010, in late November, somebody asked me when was the next time when would I ever shave? And so I answered them and said, I will shave my beard as soon as YouTube makes me a partner. Now, this was in 2010. And back in 2010, they didn't let just anybody become a partner. You had to apply for it, and most people got rejected the first time out, or the first 2 or 3 times out. And I had applied and been rejected once. And then I had applied again. And 1 week after saying I will shave my beard when YouTube makes me a partner. 1 week after that, 1 week after saying that, they did that. And that was just hilarious and funny as all weirdness get out. And so, a week after I answered the question about that, I ended up doing a video showing me shaving my beard. I believe that was for the 10th of December, or either the 2nd or the 10th, I don't remember exactly, but it was in early December of 2010. And that's when I became a partner. That's the last time I shaved, and I said then that I would never voluntarily shave again for the rest of my life. And I won't. There may be circumstances, like, for example, if you got a job in a place with food, you probably have to shave, things like that. And, there are circumstances under which I might be required to shave, but I would never do it again voluntarily. And so, as for when my beard began to look like this, 3 months after I had shaved, you couldn't tell that I had. It didn't take that long at all. I remember doing a thing where what I was doing was I took a picture every day from the time I shaved until the time that it looked like it had before, pretty much. Well, okay, it was a little snug, but it had restored itself to full beard status. And I had a time lapse that I made up of a photo every day of the progress of the beard growth. Okay, is that no, that doesn't look like it's actually going to be a way around, and it's turning into ice anyway. Okay. All right, let's get up here. We'll do that and that. That, yeah, okay, there we go. And we're moving on. So that's the story of the beard. And I sincerely do not wish to ever shave again. I may occasionally trim if it gets out of hand in a wild sort of bad way, but it's been this long that In the intervening years since then, I think I've trimmed the beard 2 or 3 times. Other than that, no. What can I say? I personally like the wild man Grizzly Adams kind of look. And so the beard stays. Love the beard. Respect the beard. Fear the beard. Yeah, there you go. Oh boy. But besides, that beard helps keep me warm in the winter. Granted, it can get a little hot and sweaty in the summer, but I can deal with that, especially if I can stay in the air conditioning, which I do every bit I can during the summer. And here we go. A nice break on the ice. Oh, yeah, shoot it. All right. There we go. Okay. And onward. Oh, here I do it again. I keep trying to sprint. It's funny, you know, I actually sprint fairly often in regular modern Minecraft, and every once in a while somebody will ask me, how come you don't sprint? I sprint all the time. I sprint so much that I try to do it in this beta 1.7.3 where you can't. Oh boy. Well, let's see. Oops, pause time. There we go. Oops, let's not go into the hole. Okay. Yeah, you know it would be really great, what I would really like a whole lot is getting to a point where I no longer have to be concerned about hitting pause for a moment or two to sneeze or cough or whatever during the video. Really don't care for doing that, but it seems to be a thing. Still. Okay, got another good long stretch of ice here. Ah, well, so what else has been going on? Well, I've had a lot of time of not feeling super great, and as a result, I've spent a lot of time sitting and watching videos because, well, either that or trying to sleep, and for a large chunk of the last month or so, it's been about all I've been up to. But things are doing better. I'm starting to feel better. And actually today I was doing something I haven't done for a little while, and that is I got myself into another one of those poker tournaments. And I think I did fairly well, even though I didn't even come close to winning, because this was a pretty good sized tournament. There were, let me look, 2,127 players starting in that tournament. And out of 2,127 players that started, I finished in 305th place. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, how? 305th? That ain't no big deal. Well, when 2,127 start, you're still there after 300. you know, that far in, I'd say that's doing reasonably well. And, you know, it occurred to me, I did a little bit of math about it, just to get a perspective on how good that is for that size of a tournament. Oops, let's see if I can get around the ice. Maybe. Yes, good. In the 2016, excuse me, the 2016 World Series of Poker main event, there was in fact the largest field there had been in quite a number of years, like the largest field in 5 years or so. 6,737 players started in the World Series of Poker main event. At the buy-in of $10,000 a seat, mind you. 6,307. Oh God, me and words and numbers today is awful. Oops, I forgot to leave my torch. Close enough. 6,737 people times $10,000 per seat. That's a heck of a prize pool. In fact, the first place prize was $8 million. But anyway, back to what I was doing here. To get an idea of how good 305 place is for this tournament, I reached back into some math out of early high school, and you may recognize the one that I'm talking about, where the teacher is talking about this particular kind of equation, and they tell you cross, multiply, and divide. And I'll put it up on the screen here. You take 2,127 players and a finish in 305th place. And the idea here is to find an equivalent to 305 in the one that has 6,737. In other words, 305 is to 127 what 6737 is to blank. So you take the 6737 and multiply it by 305. You take the answer to that and divide it by 2,127. And that gives you a number that is a small fraction, decimal fraction, over 655. Which means that in terms of placing in a tournament, placing 305th in a tournament that had 2,127 people starting is, I'll call it mathematically being roughly equivalent mathematically to finishing 655 in the World Series of Poker main event for 2016. 655th place in the main event for 2016 paid $18,000. So, yay me. That's cool. Granted, I didn't win the tournament, but had I had similar performance in something like the main, that would have been a cashing finish. And to cash in the main is almost as good as finishing first in the main. And that is good. You know, it's like I've said, I'm not the greatest poker player in the world, long way from it. But it's things like this and doing math like that after a tournament placing that gives me a little bit of perspective that says, hey, you can do this. You know, that it is possible to play well enough to at least cash in the main. Now, granted, that's a whole different kind of tournament because you're looking at 10 hours a day. You're looking at 7 10-hour days of poker in order to go all the way to the November 9. But still, it's one of those things that actually anybody can do it. Well, anybody that has $10,000 to get into to do the buy-in, but it is possible that anybody could do that. And I plan to, at some point in my life, be able to do that, to get in there, buy into the main, and find out just exactly how far I can go. And finishing in first place is, of course, the best result of that, because you're talking a several $million payday and more than likely a complete and permanent end to any and all financial woes. I'm good with that. That would be awesome. Of course, like I said, I'd be happy just to cash in the main, because the first thing I do is I take the first 10 grand prize and set it to one side so that I could play in the next year's main. That would be awesome. Of course, that also requires not being card dead. And I just realized I am daylight dead here. Yeah, alright, let's just pack it in right here. And we'll throw a torch up here. Let's get that down. Yeah, just dig right in here. Get the old hidey hole going. That up there, and this here, and another one down there. And get the bed in place, make some new ones. And a couple of more boats. And let's see, we'll throw that away. All right, so let's see. Looks like that's about it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.